come July. That is why all the political parties who are present here take this factor into account.
Có ba vấn đề nổi bật đáng chú ý trong tư tưởng của tôi nhấn mạnh cách mạng Việt Nam là một bộ phận của cách mạng thế giới.
A citizen.
Được hình thành, đúc rút, phát triển từ thực tiễn Hồ Chí Minh, tư tưởng về đoàn.
We are also very pleased to have
Vấn đề thứ nhất, tư tưởng Hồ Chí Minh về đoàn.
we have
Liên Hợp Quốc, Tổng thống đã có bài phát biểu rất sâu sắc.
and to the struggle right here
Sri Lanka, Tổng thống
against Zionist aggression. The ravages of imperialism are still 135th birthday of President Ho Chi Minh. Former Minister and General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Mahajana Party, Mr. Asanka Navaratna.
Former President of Sri Lanka, Comrade Nguyen Prong Nia, member of the Party Central Committee and the Secretary to the Party Central Committee, and all the delegates of Vietnam, and all the former ministers, member of parliaments, political party leaders of Sri Lanka, ambassadors and diplomats of representing People's Republic of China, Russian Federation, Cuba, and Comrade G. Veera Singha, General Secretary of the Communist Party of Sri Lanka, and all the political bureau and cell committee members of the Communist Party of Sri Lanka, comrades, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. It gives me great pleasure to speak to you today at the International Conference on President Ho Chi Minh, organized by the Communist Party of Sri Lanka. Actually, I would like to convey my gratitude, sincere thanks to the Communist Party to organize such a great event. And this will be a memorable occasion to all of us, remembering long-standing friendship between Vietnam and Sri Lanka, united by deep cultural ties, shared values, and a common history of resilience and peace. Our relationship is not merely the product of modern diplomacy. It is a connection that stretches across centuries through our shared traditions, especially on Buddhism, cultural exchanges, and mutual desire for freedom and dignity. Perhaps one of the most inspiring chapters in this friendship is written in the name of President Ho Chi Minh, the founding father of modern Vietnam. President Ho Chi Minh remains a towering figure, not just of Vietnam, but in the history of global freedom movements. His unwavering belief in the power of unity, justice, and people's empowerment continues to resonate with the people of Sri Lanka, who have long admired his courage and wisdom. The spirit of Ho Chi Minh also lives on in the way our nations have supported each other. During Vietnam's struggle for independence and freedom, reunification, Sri Lanka stood with the Vietnamese people, offering moral and diplomatic support. And today, our cooperation has blossomed in many fields, from trade and agriculture to education, tourism, digital infrastructure, and cultural exchanges. In recent years, both countries have opened embassies in each other's capitals, Colombo and Hanoi, reaffirming a desire to deepen this friendship. We are working together to strengthen regional peace, promote sustainable development, and protect the environment. Importantly, the people-to-people connection remains at the heart of our relationship. Cultural festivals, student exchanges, and bilateral visits are helping younger generations in both countries learn about each other and carry forward this special bond. As we celebrate this friendship today, let us also remember the legacy of Ho Chi Minh, the man who dreamed not just of freedom for his own country, but of justice and peace for all nations. Let his ideals continue to inspire Vietnam, Sri Lanka cooperation and guides us towards a future of mutual prosperity, dignity and harmony. May our friendship grow deeper with each passing year. May the legacy of Ho Chi Minh continues to light the path of unity and peace. I think it is, I would like to mention the President of Sri Lanka, Comrade Anukumar Sanayaka's visit, the recent visit to Vietnam, strengthens more bonds and connections between our two countries. Actually, as a progressive government in Sri Lanka, we expect to follow the Vietnam's economic and social reforms, especially after 1983 and 1984. We have followed the modernized reforms of the world. It is a great example for Sri Lanka to upcoming this economic crisis. So, I would like to thank the Communist Party of Sri Lanka to organize such a great occasion, to exchange the ideas, to exchange our experiences in this conference. I wish all the success in this important conference. Thank you.
Maithripala Sirisena, 6th Executive President of Sri Lanka, and also head of delegate from Vietnam, Nguyen Ton Nia, Dr. Veera Singha, Dr. Nalin Jayatissa, Health Minister, Government of Sri Lanka, diplomats, distinguished guests, Member of Parliament, all invited. First of all, let me thank Dr. Veera Singha and Communist Party of Sri Lanka for organizing this conference. And also it's a great privilege and pleasure for myself to be here today representing Sri Lanka Pojana Perum SLPP. As we all know, the relationship between Sri Lanka and Vietnam goes a long way. We do have a long-lasting traditional bond which has been built through Buddhist heritage, Buddhist culture, and also we have been strongly bonded with trade, investment for many years. I think it was the modern founder of Vietnam, President Ho Chi Minh, who visited first in 1911, if I'm not mistaken, who has been here 3 times in Sri Lanka. And ever since, the relationship grew, where there was a consulate office was opened in 1964, eventually President Mrs. Bandaranaike in 1970. The government of SLP at that time recognized and established fully fledged diplomatic relationship with Vietnam, where my father happened to be the youngest member of parliament in 1970. Your Excellency, we believe that the relationship between our countries not only limited to Buddhism, culture and trade, but we have been sharing similar struggle right throughout the years. Struggle for freedom, growth, independence. And I believe when we both joined the non-alignment movement in 1976 in Colombo, Vietnam first became a member of the non-alignment movement. Ever since, we both have maintained a non-aligned foreign policy. And I also must thank the government of Vietnam. I think the head of delegate was at that time Honorable Du Gunasekara in 2009, right after we ended the war. It was one of the few countries who stood by us, and Vietnam did vote with Sri Lanka in Geneva resolution. So we must remember with great gratitude to people of Vietnam. Your Excellency, as we all know, the world order is changing. New partnerships, trade agreements, bilateral, multilateral relationships, agreements are coming up. And I think Sri Lanka and Vietnam is situated in a position where we need to work more closely than ever before. Vietnam being one of the fastest growing manufacturing countries in the world, and Sri Lanka looking at becoming a fast growing maritime hub in the region, as we all are expecting. The Asian region is going to contribute approximately 60% of the global GDP by 2030. I believe our relationship must be more strengthened on our trade, investments, and also most importantly people-to-people relationship. And I'm sure this conference will have many more topics in discussion. So let me congratulate and once again thank the Communist Party of Sri Lanka for becoming co-sponsor of this event and organizing this event and making us a part of this. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, good morning. Excellency Nguyen from here, member of the Political Bureau of Communist Party of Vietnam, Honorable Chief Guest, Nadine Jayatristan, Minister of Health and Mass Media, Excellencies, Ambassador of Russia, Revas Devagarayan, Excellencies, Mitrin Sri Trung from Vietnam, Excellency Maribel Gonzalez, Secretary, Embassy of Cuba, King, Political Council, Embassy of People's Republic of China. අපේ ගරු ශ්‍රී ලංකා කොමියුනිස්ට් පක්ෂයේ ප්‍රධාන නායක ඒ ගුණසේකර මහතුමනි, ඒ වගේම බල සභාපති මහතුමනි, ඉරිප්පියාවීර පාර්ලිමේන්තු මන්ත්‍රීතුමනි, අසංක නවරත්න පාර්ලිමේන්තු මන්ත්‍රීතුමනි, ආජන පක්ෂයේ නායක, ඒ වගේම වීරසුමන දිසානායක හිටපු පාර්ලිමේන්තු මන්ත්‍රීතුමනි, එවැගේම අනිකුත් පැමිණ සිටින සියලුම පිටවත් සහෝදර සහෝදරියනි, මම ඉතාමත් සතුටු වෙනවා අද විශේෂයෙන්ම වියට්නාමයේ සිට ශ්‍රී ලංකාවට පැමිණි නියෝජිත පිරිසක් පිළිගෙන ඔවුන්ට උපහාර දක්වලා ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන්ම අපි නායකයා විදියට වියට්නාමයේ සලකපු සලකනදත් පොඩිමින් මැතිතුමා සිහි කරන්නට ලැබීම පිළිබඳව මම වියට්නාමයට අවස්ථා කිහිපයකටම ගිහින් තිබෙනවා. Vietnam I went many times. 1978 I went to Cuba, World Youth Conference. I thought that organized from Soviet Union, Kalabutu, Cuba, we went aeroflot plane, yes. ඒක නිසා විශේෂයෙන්ම චීනය, කියුබාව, රෂ්‍යාව, වියට්නාමය අපේ හිතවත් මිත්‍ර රටවල් සෑමදාම. කලින් කතා කරපු මහතුරු සඳහන් කළා වගේ SWRT බණ්ඩාරනායක මැතිතුමාගේ යුගයේ, සිරිමව් බණ්ඩාරනායක මැතිණියගේ යුගයේ ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන්ම වියට්නාමයේ එදා අවුරුදු 27ක තිබුණු යුද්ධය අධිරාජ්‍යවාදීන් විසින් ඒ යුද්ධය පරාජය කිරීම සඳහා ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂයේ හැමදෑම වියට්නාම් ජනතාවට සහ වියට්නාම් රජයට ආශිර්වාද කරපු කෙනෙක්. මම වියට්නාම් ගිය අවස්ථාවවලදී ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන්ම අර වියට්නාමයට විරුද්ධව සටන් කරපු අයට ඒගොල්ලන් එක්ක සටන් කරන්න හදලා තිබුණු යටිලන තනවල මම ගිහින් තියෙනවා. ඉතින් ඒක නිසා වියට්නාමයේ පිළිබඳව මට අත්දැකීම් රාශියක් තිබෙනවා. වියට්නාමය ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන්ම එවැනි බරපතල යුද්ධයකට මුහුණ දීලා කෙටි කාලයක් තුළ ලෝකේ ශක්තිමත් ආර්ථිකයක් ඇති රටක් විදියට ගොඩනැගෙන්නට ලැබීම පිළිබඳව අපි සතුටු වෙන්න ඕනේ. අපේ සහෝදර රටක් විදියට ආක්‍රමණශීලී ප්‍රතිපත්ති වලින් තොරව ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන්ම එවැනි දියුණුවක් ඇති වීම ගැන අපි ඉතාමත් සතුටු වෙන්න යුතුයි. මූලික වශයෙන්ම අපිට ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂයේ ඉඳන් ආණ්ඩුව තුල ලෝකේ සෑම රාජ්‍යයක්ම දිනා ගැනීමේ හැකියාව ලැබුණේ එදා බණ්ඩාරනායක මැතිතුමාගේ සහ මැතිණියගේ තිබුණු විදේශ ප්‍රතිපත්තියේ තිබුණු වැදගත්කම නිසා. ඒ විදේශ ප්‍රතිපත්තිය තුල ලෝකේ කිසිම රටක් තරහ කරගත්තේ නැහැ. බටහිරද නැගෙනහිරද උතුරද දකුණද ඒ සෑම කෙනෙක්ම මිත්‍රශීලී රටවල් විදියට තමයි එදා සැලකුවේ. ඒ නිසා අපිට ලෝකේ විශේෂයෙන්ම චීන, රෂ්‍යා වගේ රටවල් ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන්ම උදව් කරපු රටවල් ඒ කාල සීමාවල් තුලදී. එදා සෝවියට් දේශයේ සෝවියට් යුනියන් එක සහ ඒ වගේම දක්ෂිණාංශික දේශපාලන කඳවුර එක්ක මුළු ලෝකයේ තිබුණු බෙදීමත් එක්ක අපි වගේ පුංචි රටවල් වලට පොඩි වාසියකුත් තිබුණා. ඒ වාසිය තමයි ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන්ම එක්සත් ජාතීන්ගේ සංවිධානය තුල එක්සත් ජාතීන්ගේ ආරක්ෂක මණ්ඩලය තුල ඡන්දයක් තියෙනකොට ඒ දෙගොල්ලට වැදගත් වුණ අපි වගේ පුංචි රටවල්. නමුත් රෂ්‍යාව ඒ වගේම චීනය වගේ රටවල් ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන්ම අපේ ඉතාම ළඟම මිත්‍රයින් විදියට හැම විටම කටයුතු කළා. ඒ යුගයක් තුළ අපිට කර්මාන්ත රාශියක් අපිට ලබා දීලා තිබුණා. මේ රටේ 1978 පස්සේ විවෘත ආර්ථිකයේ හඳුන්වා දීම සමගම ඒ ලැබිච්ච කර්මාන්තශාලා සියල්ලම විනාශ වුණා. ඒ රටවල් වලින් උපදෙස් අරගෙන හදපු සැලසුම් වන්නාරනායක මැදිරිගේ 72 77 පස් අවුරුදු සැලසුම්. එයින් පස්සේ මම දන්නේ කිසිම ආණ්ඩුවක් අවුරුදු 3 අවුරුදු සැලැස්මක් හෝ 5 අවුරුදු සැලැස්මක් හදුවාද කියන එක මගේ මතකේ නැහැ. එතකොට එදා ඒ හදපු 5 අවුරුදු සැලැස්ම තුළ සෑම ප්‍රාදේශීය ලේකම් කොට්ටාශයකම ලංකාවේ අපට තිබුණ 290 ගානක්. ඒ තුළ කර්මාන්තශාලාවක් ඇති කරා. ඒ කර්මාන්තශාලා ඇති කරන්න රෂ්‍යාව සහ චීනය තමයි එදා උදව් වුණේ. ඒ කාලේ වෙනකොට වියට්නාමයේ යුද්ධයත් එක්ක නැගිටිමින් සිටින කාල සීමාවක් තිබුණා. ඉතින් ඒ නිසා එවැනි පසුබිම් තුළ අපි ඉතාම සතුටින් ඕනේ ලෝකේ වාම ප්‍රගතිශීලී සමාජවාදී රටවල් ඒ කඳවුරේ දේශපාලන පක්ෂයක් විදිහට ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂය අපිට මේ වගේ සාකච්ඡාවකට ආරාධනා කිරීම පිළිබඳව මට විශේෂයෙන්ම ඩිගුණසේකර සහෝදරයාට ඒ වගේම විශේෂඥ වෛද්‍ය ප්‍රධාන ලේකම් කොමිස් පක්ෂයේ වීරසිංහ මහත්මයාට මේ ඒ විධායක සභාවට මම ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා. මෙවැනි අවස්ථාවකට මට ආරාධනා කිරීම පිළිබඳව. අපේ හෘද සාක්ෂිය අපේ හැම වෙලෙම තියෙන්නේ ප්‍රගතිශීලී මානවවාදී ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදී සමග ගොඩනැගී යුතු සමාජ ක්‍රමයක් පිළිබඳව. ඒක නිසා ඒ සමාජවාදී ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදී කියන එක අපේ ආණ්ඩුක්‍රම ව්‍යවස්ථාවේ සඳහන් කරලා තියෙන ආකාරයටම ක්‍රියාත්මක වීම අවශ්‍ය වෙනවා. අපි අනාගතයේ බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා ඒ ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදී හා සමාජවාදී කියන ආණ්ඩුක්‍රම ව්‍යවස්ථාවේ වචන රැකෙයි කියලා අනාගතයේ සෑම වෙන දේශපාලන පක්ෂයකින්ම බලයටපත් වෙන ආණ්ඩුවකින්ම මම මේක වඩා කතා කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ මගේ කතාව ඉංග්‍රීසි භාෂාවෙන් මේ නියෝජිත පිරිස මාතෘ අතරට පත් කළා කියනවා. ඒක නිසා මම ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන්ම වියට්නාම් ජනතාවටත් රජයටත් ජය වේවා කියලා ආශිර්වාද කරමින් ඒ වගේම මෙතන පැමිණ සිටින රෂියා, කූබා, ඒ වගේම චයිනා මේ රටවල් වල ප්‍රධාන අපේ තානාපතිතුමන්ලා ඒ අයගේ පැමිණීමත් අපේ මිත්‍රත්වයේ තව තවත් ශක්තිමත් වීමේ තත්ත්වයක්. අපිට අවශ්‍ය එවැනි රටවල් සමග ශක්තිමත් බැඳීමක් ඇති කර ගැනීම තමයි අවශ්‍ය වෙන්නේ. ඒ සඳහා අපි ඉදිරියට සෑම කෙනෙක්ම සහෝදරත්වයෙන් කටයුතු කරමු කියලා ඒ වගේ මේ රටවල් සමග අපි අත්වැල් බැඳගෙන එකට වැඩ කරමුයි කියන ආයාචනය කරමින් සියලුම දෙනාට සියලුම රටවල් වල ආණ්ඩුවලට සහ ඒ ජනතාවල් වලට මේ දේශපාලන මතේ දරන ජය වේවා කියලා ආශිර්වාද කරමින් මගේ කතාව අවසන් කරනවා. ඉස්සුදී දෙවසාර.
It's an honor and a privilege conferred on me today to participate in this workshop dedicated to Ho Chi Minh and Vietnam. Ho Chi Minh visited Sri Lanka thrice on his way to the 3 continents. He was studying for himself the plight of the peoples of the three continents who were fighting for freedom struggle. Comrade Ho Chi Minh, he drew inspiration from the October Revolution while he was staying in Paris. The October Revolution took place when Ho Chi Minh was in Paris. From there onwards, he came back, he formed the Communist Party of Indochina. And he led the struggle for the emancipation of the Vietnamese people. And the 30-year struggle is well known to Sri Lanka. I remember during the period of the 30-year struggle, Dr. Vikramasinghe, our founding member, founding leader of the party, he first met Ho Chi Minh in the year 1945, soon after the Second World War, at the inauguration of the World Trade Union Federation. Since then, the relations between our 2 parties have been growing from strength to strength. The first 2 leaders who visited Vietnam on behalf of Sri Lanka were Dr. Vikramasinghe and Reverend Udagandal Sarnankara, both are founding members of our party. Reverend Sarnankara, after his return from Ho Chi Minh, Vietnam, he founded the Vietnamese Solidarity Association. It was represented by all the political parties. As far as the struggle for the Vietnamese people was concerned, the people of Sri Lanka, irrespective of ideologies, political affiliations, they all were fighting for the cause of the Vietnamese people. And also, most of people, I think I would like to remind you, Ho Chi Minh, when he visited Sri Lanka thrice on his way, he stayed several nights at the Colonial Hotel right opposite Fort Station. I think we asked them authority, the room where he was staying is still there. So Ho Chi Minh is a patriot as well as internationalist. He has been a pragmatic politician, not a dogmatic politician. He established relations with all the political parties throughout the Latin America, Africa, and Asia, and Europe Pacific. So that during the last 30 years, we also contributed our share as far as the Communist Party of Sri Lanka is concerned. When the American ships and the French ships were coming via Colombo, Trincomalee Harbour and Colombo Harbour, our harbour workers, led by Comrade M.J. Mendes, they did not allow the ships to enter the harbour for refueling. So that is to that extent the working class of Sri Lanka and contributed its share for the cause of the Vietnamese people. So during that 30-year period, the relations between Sri Lanka and Vietnam was growing from strength to strength. I must specially make mention of the role that Mrs. Bandaranaike, as Prime Minister, played in that struggle. She went to the extent of not only recognizing North Vietnam, but also she recognized the provisional government of South Vietnam, which was under the colonialists. And therefore, and we established relations, and she was extensively, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party gave its full support for the cause of the Vietnamese people. And that is why I think Mrs. Bandaranaike was one of the factors that contributed to the election of Mrs. Bandaranaike as leader of the non-aligned movement, was the role that she played for the cause of the Vietnamese people. I do not want to take much more time, and particularly during the last 50 years, after the emancipation, reunification of Vietnam, Vietnam has become one of the fastest growing economies in the world. Now, India is 7% rate of growth, but the per capita income is the lowest. But Vietnam and Indonesia are the two countries in the world which are so growing so fast. And they belong to the ASEAN economic region. This is a model economic region and model free trade zone. You know, at the time when the ASEAN was established, the economy of ASEAN was 1/8 of Japanese economy. Today the Japanese economy is 1/8 of ASEAN. So you can understand to what extent the ASEAN has contributed, and particularly the main contributory factor that helped the entire Asian economy to become the vanguard of the world economy is the great leap forward by the Chinese economy. That is a stark truth that has to be remembered. Today, the world balance of forces has changed in favor of the global south. For the first time after 500 years, the global south rate, the GDP is over nearly 60%. Whereas the global north, which controls the entire world for the last so many centuries, today contributes only somewhere about 40% of the GDP. So for the first time, the balance of economic power has changed in favor of the global south. And that is due to the fact the Great October Revolution had its own contribution, the Chinese Revolution, the Cuban Revolution, the Vietnam Revolution, all these revolutions contributed to the fast growing and to the present situation in the global south. So we are happy that Vietnam, which is today, I think has already made an application to become a member of the, I saw the statement made by the Vietnamese foreign minister, going to be the member of the BRICS family very soon. So BRICS summit is going to be held in July, first week of July in Brazil, and that's going to be a turning point. The world order is going to be changed. Not only the world order, the world financial architect is going to be changed starting from July. That is why all the political parties who are present here take this factor into account, and we must, in that context, appreciate the role played by the Vietnamese Communist Party. Thank you very much.